Hello everyone, it's Sabrina here and welcome back to join me the journey of learning Flutter together. And earlier today I also made another video about a brief introduction about its channel and myself, just to make it more clear about what to expect and what's coming in the future. And if you've been watching my video, and thank you so much. And I have seen we got more subscribers, and thank you. And that makes me very happy. And honestly, I don't expect to get a lot of subscriber to make more money through YouTube. That's not my main job. This is side hobby. My main job is to be a good software engineer and to create apps, but I like to share my learning and to connect with more people and learn together. So that's more about this channel. And today we have a very exciting topic to cover, which is about the Flutter state management. So as you can see in the screen, I'm in Flutter dev/learn, and there's a lot way to learn. Let me make my screen smaller so you can see more of the content, not me. And yeah, I mean, if you want to learn Flutter from the very beginning, this is the best resource to get started. And in the Flutter channel, this is official Flutter channel made by many developer, I believe, working in Google, and they have a lot of great content, right? And it's a good way to get started. And today we will be focusing on the state management. I hope in the future I got time to cover all about these. And oh, I get stuck on the screen. Okay, it's good. So, oh, another note. So if you are very new on software development, you are less likely to start from Flutter, and you may be developing in other web or other application. But I think Flutter is getting more popular, and it's very possible you can start from here. But there's a lot of terminology that's not very clear, even in all the official great video. And most video are meant to be made for those developer who are new to Flutter but already have experience in other software engineering field. So there's a lot of words maybe you are not familiar with, and I'm hoping to cover those and to explain in an easier way for absolutely beginners like I was many years ago. So where we are, I'm trying to find the Flutter statement. Let me see. So this is okay. User interface, widget layout, interactively, no. Maybe, yeah, data and background, beyond UI, state management. Of course, you will learn these better way on reading by yourself. But I'm just briefly go through what is it. Basically, it's a UI means the layout on the screen, and it's the result of a function that is taking the app's state and return you what is the current UI and what you see in the screen, and the screen keep changing. you have a mobile app, right? And you touch something and the screen change, that's a state change. Or let's say you are in a weather application and you check today's weather, and the weather keeps changing, and that's a state. And how are we making this in the app? um, there's a lot of way on doing so. If you follow along, and here that's a sample code on how do you change a button on the screen. When you click the plus button, the screen go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, keep going up, and the easiest way you use this set state. However, in a complicated app, basically we will have a lot of different screens. Let's say user profile is one screen, and you have a username, a displayed username, whatever you want to call yourself, and this name may be shown into different screens on the home page or the list of items. And then you go to your profile screen and you change your username. If you change on this screen and you want the change to be updated into all other screens at the same time, right? And you don't want to restart the app just to see one change. So that's more complicated way manage the state. And if you just use code like this, and it's not going to be working, because your name, this one variable, stays in one class on one page, and it's not going to be shared in other pages. So what are the way to do? That's all about state management. And in Flutter, there are many different ways on state management. Here they explain simple state and management. That's what, like what I said, you have one app, my chart, my catalog, and one of way is lifting state up. So you will be basically using your, let's say, your username as a parameter and pass that into the home app. So in one level change, and the parent will also change. But very soon we will find this is not an efficient way on doing so. If you have a lot of children, you have to pass one by one, and that's a lot of work. And if you have multi data that need to update it, and it's more problematic. So yeah, it's all about accessing the data. That's why the state is under beyond UI on data and backend. So let's say we get the data for a list of items in your shopping cart, and you keep adding or deleting your shopping cart item from the homepage of all the product you want to buy, and this keeps changing. And next time when you open your app, you want to persist your state, meaning when I put the chart in, put the item into the chart, as far as I didn't check out, a low item is always there, right? Otherwise, it's not good for business. So in Flutter, how do we do that? So that's a way of more like from the backend rendering data. And whenever you have a change, the whole app that display the information will get updated. Again, I'm not the best person to explain all these. There are many good material, and I will just go through these quickly. So in the Flutter, ChangeNotifier is is a default option for many simple Flutter app, and it's from the package called Provider, which is built upon the inherited widget, which is also the Flutter default way of how the widget works. And there's a lot of downside if you see the code. So every time when you want to update some data, you want to capture the data into a specific class and extend to ChangeNotifier. And then when you add an item, you need to write this code, notify listeners, and then on other screen where it will be registered to listen to the change of this class, then they get notified. So when you call this function and add an item into the list, this list item will update it, and all the other pages that display a list of items will be updated. And then you have ChangeNotifierProviders and MultiProvider. When you have a different data that you want to update and in capture. See, this is some other class or child model. Then consumer are the class that's listening to the data change. Just wear my glasses to see more clear. Over time, my eyes are not very good, and the cost of being a software engineer. And here on the official website, they list different way on state management approach. So provider, very popular for simple app statement. Riverpod, the same author who created a provider, later provide Riverpod, and this will be the main package that we will be using in code with Android lesson, where we are today in the module 3 on Flutter App Architecture, and he will explain what kind of architecture we want to build for the app, and the rest of the module will be focused on Riverpod. We will go and listen this lesson very soon, but before we do that, I just want to go through with what is the official document talking about all these state management. So after Riverpod, you have Redux. In my company, we use customized state management solution that is similar to Redux. By customized, I mean we are not using any package, but the mechanism theory is similar with Redux, and many people from web app development is very familiar with this. There's quite a big learning curve, and even for me, I haven't read all of these yet. I plan to. Then you have a blog where it's business logic, then they address more concern on how to separate your business logic with UI code. But you should do the same for all other package. It's always a separation is important. And what I heard is this one has a lot of boilerplate code, and then you have GetIt, which is not really a full state management solution. As it mentioned, it's a service locator for independent injection, and often we use this And I was using Get and Provider together, and nowadays I think Riverpod just one is enough. And there's a lot more. And lastly, there's a very popular one called GetX. If you open this, oh, it's a very fancy page where number one liked, and I read this and I tried, but it's a lot. And I also heard different opinion about GetX. So we are not going to be following this, but what I heard is it's not a good way on learning Flutter. You spend a lot of time on learning how GetX works, but not really on how under the hood Flutter is working. And because they hide many logic, theory behind, and make things looking easier, but not really easy. Yeah, this is so we will not go through this. And some people say it's over exaggerate, and the community or creator is not that humble. I don't know. I'm not here to comment anything, but just to let you know what is popular, maybe not the best solution, and there is no best solution. There is only the solution that is suitable for your team and your project. Yeah, that's all. That's all. Okay, and here I have another article that I was reading. I found it very good. There are 3 of them, all talking about Flutter state management, and I will share the link in the video notes. So I talk about what is state and stateful widget. How do you change? See, this is called a state change, right? And most of the sample code are for the very simple app, but in reality, you will have a big app that is complicated and has multi-stage, then you need to update. But another concern is a good architecture should be structured on the way that if in the future you want to change a package on state management tool, it should be easy to migrate. So if you have a large code that is mixed with just one package, over time the code became very, very big, and one day if the package community abandon the package and you want to change, and it's going to be a lot of work. So that's why in the beginning to structure your code and think carefully and do research about which approach you want to go is very important. He talks about using the inherited widget. Yeah, sorry, I probably scrolling up and down too much. And so there's a lot of repeated code if you want to use Flutter's inherited widget. Let's see, this is to increment, decrement. So the provider is built upon the inherited widget to reduce the repeated code, but there are still some issues, and the provider is not perfect. Now here is the provider. You can see is known for simplicity, flexibility, performance benefit. Great. And it provides an easy way to manage and share state across the widget tree without requiring a lot of body code, as we saw in the inherited widget. So this is if you use provider, that's how you are going to do it. You put the value you want to change in the class with change notifier, and instead of using set states within the UI widget, and you can separate your business logic in a different class and call this function notify listener, and this will update the UI class, and your UI class can change to a stateless class, meaning it's not going to be changing unless you call this function, and then we will run the build and to rebuild the UI. So this is, you see, this is a stateful widget, but because there isn't set state or using or there isn't any code in any state, blah blah. So you can change this to a stateless widget to make the code easier to read. Here is the provider page where we have a scaffold at bar. The body will be a consumer, which means you are consume the provider, the data, the change, especially the change of data on here. And you can go through this in details yourself. And then the part 3, he talks about blocks and Redux. And I want to read more about it because this is more common what many other Flutter app is built on. And because before Flutter is popular, there's already a lot of tools and design pattern on how to management a state in other applications with other tools, and the principles are similar. So some people use the same principle to apply to their Flutter app. So separation, concern, responsiveness, testability, scalability, and I have not used a block myself, so I don't have much to say about. Let's go through to Redux. And in the very last part of this video, I plan to show you my company's code, not the full code, but you will see. I will briefly go through how do we manage the state. It's not the perfect way, but it's a very unique and different way, and it's good to learn a different way, so you will understand better on why you are doing why you are doing what you are doing, basically, and learn the difference between the pros and cons, and it helps you make better decision. So Redux pattern, they use this package, and if you this is the block, this is the Redux package, and it's quite an older package, but you don't really need much to update, because for the Redux it's very popular. You see Redux.js book, and a lot of people already explore and spend a lot of time into it, and let's go through a brief intro on the Redux. So in Flutter, create an application that uses the Redux pattern. Define the state. Define state of your application as a class and extend the equitable class. Yes, so this is your state. And then you define an action. Define the action that can be displayed to the store as classes. Okay. Reducer. Define reducer that takes current state and an action as an input. Return a new state as an output. So these are the reducers. You return and then create the store. So create a store for your application using the store class. So they already have a store class where is store that takes counter state. Oh, you have a store provider with a store, which is your store is this one that has initial state and a counter reducer is as we defined earlier here. You see state.count, and if it's increased and we update the state using the copy with method. And in the UI, you will write state store connector, where you have access to the state. The type is an integer. Converter is store.count, and when you in the builder, this is your UI text, you have count, which you come from here .string. Okay, so the count may as user change, like in the button here, it's a callback. When you press call and dispatch increment action, you see. This is the action that change the state, and then this part will update. I think that's all for this. If you are interested in Redux, you can read more. But it's a different approach, and basic we are using Redux principle, and it's quite challenging at the beginning to understand what's going on. But over time, once you get used to it, it's okay, I guess. Let me share. I think since we are talking about Redux, before we go to Android Studio, Android code, I want to share the project that I have been working with, a brief overview for state management, and this is my company's code. And I'm not going to run this, and there's a lot of code, and they keep updating. So I want to go through this first, so that you have a comparison with this architecture versus the way Android is talking about, the Riverpod one. I'm new to Riverpod as well, so I'm also curious on which way I will use going forward. And in our code, I got a lot of errors already. So because I didn't, what's going on? It's all error. Okay, it doesn't really matter. So we are using a centralized code state management tool. Basically, all the changes into one class that's called store, and here is the App Store. And as I mentioned, we are not using any package, so we create our own store class, and we are using this package called Redux. That's include a lot of stream extension, stream manipulation activities. You get different kind of stream that's beyond the default stream class that Flutter provide. The behavior subject basically tells you it saves the last value in your stream. So that's what we use. So when you open your app, you don't always start from the beginning. The app state is the main state for all the app. I honestly don't like this architecture that much. It's very hard to work on that. My job is so challenging that I spend a lot of time just to understand the code, what's going on, because so many code are mixed into different folder. You see, the app state is how long? This is very long. So on app state, we will have a UI state, setting, session, and then each game has different state and all in one. And when you, it's like a very big tree. It's called app state. Then you have some of these are main branch, the first layer, and if you open for details for each layer into the session state, then you see so many, and you have again so many state. It has everything: user profile, your wallet, your record history. I don't know why the send up value is also here, right? And some values on send up. Other game like list of lottery game. Refer friends. Yeah, I mean when you open each again is a big branch. Lottery game. This it shouldn't go to session because session is related with user profile and like to a specific user, and if a user didn't play the lottery game, they don't have lottery game under their session in theory. But as a way, like there isn't strict rules on how should we struct the code, so we just put anything. It's like like a big company with different branch. You have one main manager, and then each department has a lot of sub-department, and over time there can be different role in multi-branch, and yeah, it's often hard to find out where is everything. After then you have model, so each state, for example, the lottery type as enum. Oh, it's so long. Or a game status. This is safe enum, and so another type. Oh, let's lottery race, extend race. So this is a typical data model where you define all the properties, that's coming from the backend, and all these are defined in the model class. So when you go to model class, you'll see all the data model that we need to pass and structure. For example, if you say lobby type, yeah, sometimes even the UI code is also in the let's say the lobby type is an enum, which is not a data class, and it's not from backend, but it's more like, oh, in the UI we want to show ADW game, which is a live racing game, lottery game, contest. Yeah, it's different type of the game that we create for our app. But in this company, which I'm no longer working for them, and they they have a lot of work to do, so often we don't get much time to clean up, please. And I want to clean, I want to work more on that, but often they give me different tasks to do, so it was never a priority on working on this. Every morning we have Scrum meeting, and where you talk about what did you do yesterday. I can't say, hey, I was working on the code refactor cleaning. I can say some, but not all the time. Again, there's a lot of historical reason. Also, all the code is written by different developer, and I don't have the permission changing all into the way I want to work on. I have to discuss with them, should we change this, is it better? And often they don't have time to discuss with me, and so we just keep going and working on existing code and debug, and yeah, so I showed you the store, and then you have action. Action is again the big factor. So action will correspond to the data class, the model. So for example, the ADW programs, that means horse racing game. For each race, one program is like one race, and this is corresponding to the model on ADW. And if you go, and you will find the ADW program where we define the program ID, captain, number of races. So so each program is not a race, it's like a place, a name of the race, you can say. And then every day they run different number of races, and each race then you have different horse on running, and you can pick which horse you like to bet and win. Yeah, I'm not gambling gambler, so I don't use the app myself. For some reason, we have for example, program filter is also within the model class, which, for example, on the UI, you sort by the program name, or MTP, like program time, A to Z, the name, or you can favorite, only show your favorite. But yeah, I won't go through all, but this is some example to show you a large code base that is not super well organized. And And our team is great, and although I left, but there's a lot of very experienced developers still working in the code base, and there's a lot of decision need to be made, Lisa. So we are not here to judge is the code good or bad. It's just a way to show you how complicated the app development is. And I'm sure in other company, their code, it can be even messier. And I worked in one company where they want to launch a marketplace app, and they bought a pre-made app from other software company. I don't know how much they paid for it. It's made by other people, and they try to take the app. They don't want to develop from scratch, so they bought the app, and then they try to work on the code to develop it. But very soon they found how bad the code was, and I was working on that code base. It's a lot of repeated code and very hard to maintain and change. Yeah. So Redux is using this centralized state management, so all the state into one, and it's not very good. Let's say in the screen, I'm developing. I'll give you a typical example. Let's say I'm going to work on AWS store. What is store? It's one of the page where we selling some files and user can purchase, and the file can help them making the betting decision. So they go to our store and pay for it and download the file. If I were to develop this new feature, so what should I do? So first, you go to the App Store screen. I think I didn't run the app or something. Yeah, just ignore the errors. So I go to the app handicapping store screen. This is going one of the screens that will be navigated to from our main screen called lobby, and in here you will typically see a scaffold with a bar, drawer with our menu, and then column stuff where you will see a list of store. I think because we are a complicated app and also need to address the responsive design, so we have a large layout, small layout. So for example, in the small layout view, where here you get a store product list, and I wrote all the code. It's a lot of work. So on the store product code, so it shows you a list of products, right? So where we use a sliver list, but where do you get the data? That's the thing. So you get the data from, let me see. Let's see if maybe I should run it. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I should get the package. Right. I will try to go quickly, and we will go back to this later in the next session. But what I want to see is how do you get the data? You see, you get you create the data. This is the list. And where you get, you see the list is not empty, you do list, that's the main information. And where do you get list? You get from list function. Which will take a product, and where do you have a product? Oh, from here, it's a parameter where, well, you get product from here. Great. So here you have a list props. Props dot store state dot available product dot fold. We use a lot of functional programming feature, which is very good. Advanced code where you will render different state. So where do you get the prod? Here, the connect state, that's the main function. So connect state is also a customized code in our store folder, where we kind of convert all the data into this big stream, and where you see AppStore.stream, map, distinct, render if, blah blah. And if the data change, we set state to change. Initially, we use the stream builder in the connect state, but we later changed because there isn't a good way to address different issue where there's error or empty data for whatever reason we changed. And so that's the connect state. So the connect state where you take your class, the data class. Then this is very similar with the Redux package, where you have a store, then contain a type. This type is list store product list props, which is extend equitable because we want the model immutable. And in here we have app store state and purchase product state. So it's two. So we make the prop. It's basically like in the big state tree, where you have two branches or separate. And but now this page will need data from both state, so you kind of put these two together into one class, and it will be like this. Yeah. So where this will be used, it will be used into here. And as you can see, so in the build method, and you connect the state with the map through a list of state, where it takes the app state. And so where is the app? How do you get this? Will be state.appStore state of session dot purchase. And by the way, this can be long, and if you want this page to show if user is signed in or not, you probably go to add another property in the class saying, oh, it's going to be state.signin.user profile is empty, or is user sign in or not. If you want to also connect state from another branch, let's say the wallet doesn't user deposited money or not, then you add a new one and you put all together. And the advantage is it's very flexible, and you can easily get a state from any page, right? Any location of the state tree, and put them together and update them in any screen. The downside is it's just quite hard to understand and manage. And if you have a change, let's say I want to move this, I think this purchased state should be in a different location, and it can be a lot of work to change. Let's see how we update the state. This is how we get this. We get props, right? So prop dot store state, which refers to here, and this is what we do. And this is on data will be the state, a list of store, and here is the products. How do we update the store? Update the state. Let's go here. Available ADW product widget, and in this way, here you see on tap product. When you tap into a product, you want to add the product into your chart, or tap again to remove. And this is how we update AppStore.dispatch. And dispatch is a function to we custom written in App Store to update an action that's defined here. And then you will also define each action for remove apps ADW product from the chart. So you will do, this is a simple action. We have many more complicated action with more logic, but action is you can see contains most business logic. You have chart lane, which is a shortcut for getting this state update, and then you chart remove, and this under the hood is just like the copy with method to like deep copy of when you have one layer after another. You want to change this data, update to a higher layer. You can write a shortcut to cut. Otherwise, you will have a very long dot update. And I know in the Riverpod there's similar code, and also a simpler way to update, to deep copy basically. And for action, you will go into define action into store / action folder. You create a new folder. You basically say, oh, this is in App Store. But you see our code, this one is relatively short. There are some pages are very long. So you write your action that's related to the feature into one file. For example, the session, I believe session is very long. Yeah, okay, not too bad. So it's all the code that will update the state in the session class. And then where do we get the data is also a very important class. By the way, the state tracker is also very important, interesting class. It's a lot on how do we map through the stream and update and listen. So we have a case if we want the data to be constantly updating, so user will always see the new information, because the race data keep changing, and we use a timer, and here you are listening the stream, right? It's mostly listening. What is this? Switch banner, observe banner. Yeah, observe banner will be, you see, everyone. It's about listening. So if you detect there is some change, for example, the user change, and then you fetch banner. What does that mean? So each user may see a different banner, like an image on the main screen, and when they change, you call fetch new data from the backend. So that will bring us to what is fetcher. And again, this is a very big class, like 1,000 code. So it's hard to go through. And we were told you search the keyword. Sometimes it naming the function is hard, right? One of the most challenging tasks is name, give a proper name, and sometimes you forgot which name you should search for. So a lot of time I still scrolling through and to try to find. For example, if I want to work on ADW store, I probably type ADW. This is live stream store. Yeah, now I found it's here. So in the store where we will take a program date, and because every day we have different products, and then under the hood we will call the web client. So the fetcher is like the middleware connect with the backend API and to call the dispatch function to update the data. So on web client we will get a product, so it will be here. So we HTTP, you use get method, and this is what's it called, endpoint on the RESTful API, right? And again, you take the date, then you pass the result, pass the data, the JSON data to convert to your data class, and then you put into a list and return a list of ADW products that you defined. So this file web client is also thousands long, and it's all about all the backend call. So the only place you will use this function is on the fetcher, but fetcher can be used in the fetcher function for each can be used in multiple. So when you call this fetcher, you will call web client to gather data, and then you get a result, which is another customized class for the result of a list of ADW products. And we can talk more about result and remote lists, and we create in handling different state of the data fetching process. But basically, when you get the data, you call AppStore.dispatch. And yeah, and we showed this list earlier. And what list will dispatch? We set available ADW product, implement app action. These are all our own code. So it will call the store lane. It's like app state dot session dot store dot blah blah blah. It's a shortcut to get into the app store, and then you update like copy with deep copy, and the initial state for the for this class is obvious 0, no data. And when you get the data, you pass the list of data and you copy with into the state. Now this state will have data, and when the UI use connect state to connect this state and display the data inside this class, and we will have data to show. And if there's no data, it's empty, and we say there's no data. And where do you call this fetcher function? Yeah, this place we only called once. This one is called in the state tracker. So sometimes we call in initial state of one page. So when user come to this page, we fetch data, and then while we are fetching, we show a loading sign, and when we get the data, we update the state to display the data. But there are times when we will call the data in the when we launch the app. So in this case, even though when user didn't navigate into the screen page, we already call this data. So let's observe. So it will called in the main dot dart on the entry point, and you can see we will map through the state. And so first we fetch all the product dates, and if this is null, and we set, oh, there's no data because there's no date, and otherwise we will get the product. And why we are doing so? Because there are several reasons. Sometimes we call the data in app launching state, because in different pages we may want to use less data, and we don't want to wait until user navigate into that page to call the data. So if you see, let's say, the private class where we have a lot of observe code for start state tracker, and if you see this, and this is called init state. Initial state, everything is empty, and we have app config, and so you call this, and where you call this init state, it's inside the main dot dart. You call this, and you run app, and then you have my app, and this widget for restarting the app. I did this. When you have an error, you show an error button, and user click again to relaunch the app. They don't have to close the app to redo again. And then on my app is here. Yeah, you use the route, or we use Beamer, and it's a good package. When we first start our app, I think the one last module we talked about navigation, remember? And we use Go router, and when we start this, the Go router is not that mature yet, so we use different one, and now it's very difficult to change, so we keep. And so the route information, the router, yeah, and the parser, there's a lot of logic. If you just go, just reading this, it's even hard to find where is the home page. You will have to go to the lot dedicate on here, and to find the location. And location is where we define the home page and all the code. And for the navigation, we have a whole folder specifically for all the navigation code and all the app route, screen. So this is all each screen, and how do you go through this? Yeah, it's a lot, and the screen folder is obviously all the UI code, but there can be logic code mixed as well. It's huge. Code widget is all the common widget we are using. I'm sorry. I should have better prepared, or at least remove all the warnings. But this is just a very brief overview for the architecture, of my previous company is using. So you get a brief idea, and we will use this to compare with, I guess close everything. I use this to compare with this complete Flutter course, which I feel it's a much better organized folder structure. But I think our app is organized too, but in a very different way. So he talked about feature first approach, and under each feature you will see each feature has their model, has their UI, has all the code in under each folder. So which is very good. I think that's all for today's video, and this will be the section 1 for Flutter statement overview. And on the next session, we will follow the module 3 and learn about this video. And one last note about his video. So there isn't a lot of videos, so if you didn't purchase his course and you feel like I missed out, you don't have to feel that way, because watching a video is never the best way of learning. It gives you a good idea to help you go through, but again, a lot of articles and a lot of coding you need to practice on your own. And so yeah, and you can so if you didn't purchase the video, and it can be if you didn't purchase the course and just using the code, which although it's public, but it can be hard to go through what's going on for each session. So in a step-by-step module, it's easier to follow, like module 3, module 4, so you make the change along the way, and that's what we are doing in this series. And again, thank you so much for watching, and see you soon. Bye bye.